Welcome to 8 Stories, the entertaining, uplifting, and informative podcast for people who are passionate about enriching the multifamily experience. I'm your host, Sharon Cauthen, and together, let's take an enlightening journey across the multifamily landscape, sharing innovative ideas and heartfelt stories from communities nationwide. 8 Stories is brought to you by Multifamily Media Network, delivering the latest news, ideas, and inspiration across the multifamily sector. Now, let's jump into today's stories. Hello, welcome back to 8 Stories. I'm your host, Sharon Cauthen, and today we're diving into one of my favorite television shows, Survivor. Listen, I've watched every episode since this show started, and they're in season 48 right now. So my husband and I, our meet cute story involves Survivor. That was a long time ago. Anyway, so there's a lot about the game and the competition that could really apply to our daily lives, our work life, wherever we are. So we're going to take a look at some of that today. If you wait to see the person who wins is the person who can outwit, outplay, and outlast everybody else. But when you're up there in the very end, the game flips. And the jury, which is comprised of about 10 people who were already voted out, they have to decide who gets the $1 million. So if you did them real dirty, they may have a grudge against you because you voted them out at some point. So how do you get them to accept that your gameplay was so on point that you should be the one who was selected? Anyway, season 50 is just around the corner, and they're building that game out right now. One other cool thing about Survivor is that Jeff Probst has been the host of that show since the first episode. This show is part hunger and survival, part physical fitness, part social dynamics. Like, there's so much to this game. And if any of you do think you would ever apply to be on Survivor, because they're still taking applications, and if you do, let me know. Send me leave a comment or send me a message about it, because that would be 100% cool. I'd love for some of our community members to go on the show, and I'd happily cheer you on. I would even write a letter for the family letter weeks, even though I'm not your family, but we're a community. Happy to help. Today, we're going to talk about the big lessons that Survivor teaches us, both for the game and life. It's about more than physical endurance. The big muscly guys come on and everybody's afraid of them. They're afraid they're going to win every challenge and then, vote them off. But it is rare for the big beefy guy to win this show. It just is. They usually get targeted before they can really get to the end of the game, because other people are playing the real battleground, which is the social dynamics. Players come in with one idea, but as alliances form and break, everyone is forced to adapt. And isn't that just like life? You think you know where you're going, and then something unexpected throws you off course, and how you respond to that makes all of the difference. So we're going to break it down, starting with how Survivor teaches us to navigate life's complexities, one strategic move at a time. One of Survivor's first and most important lessons is learning to read people. If you can't get a sense of who's trustworthy or who's scheming, you'll be blindsided. And before you know it, and that's a lesson we can all apply in our daily lives. We need to be able to read the situation around us and read the subtle cues of the people around us. On Survivor, the players who make it the longest are the ones who pay close attention to body language, tone, and just subtle shifts in behavior that hint that someone might be lying or flipping alliances. They don't have what we have, which is the wisdom of it being an edited show, so that we can think, why didn't you find that? It was right in front of you. Well, they were in a different situation than we are. But just the ability, even in that total isolation, to read those cues, even when you think you're not at all being suspicious, it takes no there's nothing to distract these people from reading each other. Nothing. They're on an island together trying to survive. So even in that, there's no, distraction with phones or televisions or newspapers, nothing. You are on the island with these people. So you read their behavior. And when that starts to change or it doesn't line up or make sense for the situation and nobody's cluing you in, that's a big clue that you need to make a plan. So that's a thing that Survivor teaches us, is to be mindful of those cues and to always be aware of who is around us. Another key to survival on the island and in life is forming strategic alliances. No one wins Survivor on their own. Sure, they have to make big moves, but they always do it with a group. It's a reminder that we all need a team, even if we're the ones making the final decision. Successful contestants know how to build trust with others while always keeping their own goals in sight. Think about how you collaborate with people, whether you're at work or managing family dynamics. Building relationships that help everyone achieve their goals is key. But just like in Survivor, remember those alliances can shift quickly. So how do you manage that? Let's talk about that next. Nothing ever stays the same for long. 1 minute you're in the majority and the next you're being targeted. That's why players need to be flexible and adaptable. Whether it's the game or life, circumstances change. We can't predict everything, but we can prepare ourselves to pivot when needed. The ones who stay stuck in one strategy, even when it's no longer working, are often the ones who get voted out. That is true. So how do you find yourself resistant to change? That's something that I sometimes fight against, and to my detriment. Change is coming. Change is here. So we either have to get on board with it or at the very least stop fussing about it, because it is here. It's natural to want things to go according to plan. But when things take a different turn, it's all about how quickly we adjust. Just like Survivor, the sooner we adapt, the better our chances are of success. Think about that. If you're in the multifamily world, as so many of our community members are, and you have a problem, any problem, you have to quickly be able to pivot and put a different plan in play. Everything's fixable, but the longer you deny the fact that circumstances have changed, the longer it's going to be before you can put a plan in place to recover. So I would encourage you to adapt, and the quicker you adapt, the better your chances are of success. Okay, we're going to talk about image. And this isn't, the clothes you wear necessarily. It's about managing how others perceive you. It's critical. If people think you're a threat, they'll target you. If they think you're too weak, they don't want to align with you. The players who succeed strike a balance. They're strong enough to be valuable, but not so dominant that they become the next target. It's the same in our personal and professional lives. How do you want to be seen? It's important to be authentic, but also to understand how we present ourselves impacts how people respond to us. It's about striking that balance between confidence and humility and knowing when to step up and when to step back. All right. So one of the most fascinating aspects of Survivor is the long game. We often see players get caught up in short-term moves that might feel really good in the moment, like blindsiding an ally. But those impulsive decisions can cost them the $1 million prize later on. The best players always think ahead, weighing how much each move will affect their standing in the game, not just today, but weeks down the line. It's like that in your professional life too sometimes. It's tempting to go for the immediate win, but the best decisions are usually the ones that pay off in the long run. It's a lesson in patience, strategy, and keeping our eyes on the bigger picture. That's the lesson that we can all learn from. We're also going to talk about embracing the unknown. Survivor is full of twists, whether it's an unexpected tribe swap, an idol play, or a surprise challenge. The players who do well are those who can adapt on the fly. They trust their instinct. They make decisions with limited information and Therefore, they're able to be resilient and quickly get back on track. In our own lives, we face the unknown every day. We don't always have all the answers. And things don't always go according to plan. But if we can learn to stay calm and navigate uncertainty, we'll be better prepared for whatever comes our way. So there you have it. Survivor might be a reality TV show, but the lessons it offers are anything but fiction. From reading people and forming alliances to staying adaptable and playing the long game, these strategies can help us all navigate the challenges of life with a bit more insight and wisdom. Thanks for joining me on today's episode of 8 Stories. If you're as excited as I am about Survivor Season 50, or if you've got some takeaways of your own, I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment or a message. Until next time, though, keep playing the long game and stay ready for the unknown. This is Sharon Cauthen. I'll see you next time on 8 Stories.
Thank you for tuning in to 8 Stories. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. And don't forget, this podcast is proudly brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network, your trusted source for stories, trends, and insights in multifamily living.